Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? It's Buns, and welcome back to the Road to Gladiator. Tonight, we are going to do our first ever Elemental Shaman Arena gameplay breakdown. Very excited about this one. And tonight, we're going to specifically talk about on Ellie Shamans how to deal with melee. Because I'm sure, as a lot of you guys know, as many different casters in the game, it's very difficult to deal with having double melee pressure on you, whether it be DK, Pharaoh, Rogue, Warrior, Monk, so have you. A combination of those two classes can be a nightmare for any caster to try to deal with. Tonight, I'm going to give you guys a game where I'll break down and talk about some efficient ways to deal with melee as an Elemental Shaman, because the catch is with Elemental Shaman, you can do a lot of burst damage. You just need to be able to get your few casts off, like Stormkeeper, Ice Fury. Being able to get those casts off is important, and there's things that you can do to help yourself out, give yourself the opportunity to get that distance, and to be able to maximize the amount of casts you can get out while taking pressure off of the rest of your team. So tonight, I'm going to do a breakdown for our first time on the Elemental Shaman. Today, I was playing as Disc Priest, Survival Hunter, Ellie Shaman for a while, and then thankfully, we snowballed into Ellie Shaman, Windwalker, Disc Priest, which was way better. I like trying out different comps. The Survival Hunter was okay. We just didn't have quite enough lockdown. The Windwalker provided so much AoE stuns. It was not only good for myself for peels, but it was also good for when they decide to go into our healer. I'm going to jump into the clips and show you guys how you can efficiently deal with a double melee when playing as an Elemental Shaman. Let's get into it. The catch-22 with Elemental Shamans is that we have to be able to get our hard casts off like Stormkeeper and Ice Fury to turn around and do instantaneous pressure. So we need to give ourselves windows to do so. Now, when playing against Death Knights, they have Death Grip, which is on a 25-second cooldown. We can counter this ability by using our Gust of Wind and saving it for the Death Grip. So in this clip right here, you see that the Death Knight's going to immediately grip me in, and I Gust of Wind out, which is already creating a lot of distance. The next important step when playing our Shaman is being able to understand when it's important to use our cooldowns to mitigate their damage. Now I see that they pop all of their offensive abilities, so I'm going to go ahead and wall here, and we even paints up on top of this, and at this case scenario, we probably need both cooldowns, as this is huge damage cooldowns from both players on their team. Now I'm going to rewind the clip once again to show you guys a second thing that I want to talk about that's very important when dealing with double melee, and that is, as an Elemental Shaman, you need to continue casting your high damage, your high value spells like Stormkeeper, Ice Fury, and Hex to bait out kicks from the enemy team's melee DPS. So in this situation, I have the Death Knight charging me. He ends up trinketing out of the mind control, and I get my totems down. I'm going to look to start casting Stormkeepers, and it gets Blood Elf Silence on the first cast. Now I'm going to get kicked by the DK in the second. Now they no longer have kicks, and I can cast an Ice Fury, and we can turn around the pressure here. And this is important because if you don't cast these during this whole duration, you're not going to have the momentum after you pop your defensives. Now, as a follow-up to being able to get your hard casts off and baiting the enemy team's kicks, understand that they are going to most likely want to kick your big spells to prevent you from doing damage. So it's important with that in the back of your mind to understand that you can also fake cast and bait their kicks on your Stormkeepers and Ice Fury, get them out of the way, and assert pressure for yourselves with them having a lack of interrupts. I would also highly recommend for anyone that is looking to play Arena in PvP, make sure that you are using the add-on Omnibar. Omnibar is a great add-on that is primarily used for tracking enemy team kicks, but you can also add in other spells that you are looking for at the same time as well too, such as Counter-Strike Totem, an extremely helpful add-on that can help you keep track of enemy team cooldowns. As the clip continues, I juke the DK's kick on the Hex, and then I end up putting him into a full Hex to help me get some free casts off onto this Feral and lift the momentum for our team. The next thing on my mind is now I have two melee on me and they're coming out of the Hex. So I have to give myself some distance here to be able to get some spells off. So immediately I'm going to use my Gust of Wind, and it's the best way for me to get away in this situation. But I understand that the DK also has grip up for me at this point, so I'm going to need something to follow it up and create some space. So I'm going to use my Thunder Punt afterwards to create that gap after I use my Gust of Wind. By doing this, I allow myself a few seconds to get cast off onto the Feral Druid where the DK has to use a cooldown to get back on top of me. Once again, I'm dealing with both kicks from the melee, so I want to try to get them out as early as possible. My monk comes over and double stuns, which gives me some time to get some free casts off, which is very important as well, too, if you're playing with a melee DPS. Let them be able to help you get casts off so that you can get your damage off during those stun lockouts. Now in this next clip, we're going to use a very creative way, which is specific to our comp to be able to help me get some distance. My priest, who is in a good position for me to connect back onto the Feral Druid, is going to use Life Grip on me to get me away from the DK. The DK is going to end up following that with his Death Grip, but I have my Gust of Wind to be able to recreate that distance and get away from his cooldown. The clip plays out, and I get Life Gripped to my priest, and I then follow it up with Gust of Wind into a totem onto the DK, so he is not able to move, and this gives me uptime to be able to harass both the Feral Druid and the Paladin. Continuing my pressure onto the Feral Druid, one way that you can keep a Death Knight out of the game as an Ellie Shaman is using your Earthbind totem on their Wraithwalk. Wraithwalk does not work on Nova, so this will keep the Death Knight out of the play and is a very helpful way if you can manage the timing to keep the DK locked down on its most efficient gap closer. Finally, all of our hard work has paid off. We've dragged the DK around the map like a dead horse, and we put him in the Fist of Fury stun, and we land the kill onto the Feral Druid. This is a great game to show what you can do on an Elemental Shaman to maximize the amount of damage and spacing that you can get when dealing with melee DPS. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. My goal with this video is to help you guys be able to understand how to deal with double melee better as an Ellie Shaman, being able to make the most of your cooldowns, using your wall early before you get stunned up, using your spacing well by dropping down totems and your Gust of Wind. It's very hard to do, but getting in the good habit of keeping these things in the back of your mind is going to help you in the long run, and you'll get used to it, you'll get your muscle memory down, and you'll be able to get on top of it. Guys, as always, appreciate all of the support on the channel, and for all of you guys tuning in onto the live stream as well too. Lots of love for you guys. I will catch you guys on the next video. We're doing the live stream in the afternoon. Keep it easy, everyone. Peace. Later, guys. Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, guys? It's Buns, and welcome back to the Road to Gladiator. Today, we're doing an arena gameplay breakdown. You guys have requested for it. We're coming in hot. Today, I did some Rogue Mage Priest on last.